Rob Pelinka is ready to strike as a shocking new report has dropped, revealing some wild information as it pertains to one key player. We're going to break down exactly who that is and discuss what this means going forward, as well as break down multiple updates ahead of tonight's crazy game against the Timberwolves and what's going to be a crucial Game 6 performance. So stay tuned for all that this episode, folks. Before we get into it, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. If you want to help us towards our big goal of 20K, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, a ton to go over today, and we're going to take a step back. Of course, the Lakers play in a few hours, but a wild new report is dropped as it pertains to Damian Lillard and the Lakers, and it is a little bit crazy. And take a step back from the playoff talk just for a moment. Of course, we'll dive into it later in this video, but a ton to go over here. As you can see here, the Orlando Magic are favorites to land Damian Lillard if he is not with the Milwaukee Bucks next season, per Voda official. The Magic are, of course, the favorites, but you see the Lakers there at plus 450. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Lakers are among favorites to land Damian Lillard. Now, I can already see some of the comments. I'm going to dive into a bunch of different things. I'm not saying this is a great move, especially depending on the cost. But after the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic, I consider, especially from the Lakers side, anything possible for Rob Pelinka. And it seems like he is going to be ready to strike once again, no matter what happens with, this series, this season. He's going to continue to look for the next ways to improve. And the books agree here. Plus 450 for the Lakers. You have the Orlando Magic and, of course, the Miami Heat, where Dame initially wanted to be traded to at the start. But some context for this. Of course, Damian Lillard came to the Bucks, last year in the offseason, got traded before the season started. They've been struggling, the Milwaukee Bucks. They're probably going to lose to the Indiana Pacers in the first round. And if they are shopping Damian Lillard, I don't love the fit in LA, quite frankly, but it's crazy that this is still a huge, it's still a conversation. I'm looking at some of his stats. This season he's averaging 24, basically the same stats as last year, and he's just a couple years removed from averaging 32 points a game. So there's absolutely no doubt that the talent is there, that everything is there for him to be. Again, he's 34 years old now, but I want you to let me know down below. Do you think the Lakers should pursue Damian Lillard? Because I think at this juncture, it is an interesting proposal. How much he would cost, we're going to dive into a mock proposal here in a minute, but as it pertains to how much he's going to cost and all these different things, I don't love the move necessarily, because you have Luka Doncic, you have LeBron James, and it's not like Dame is a young player by any means. You wouldn't be really resetting or having a star to pair alongside Luka Doncic for any extended period of time. And I think if you're going to be giving up first round picks and assets, you're going to want to get a player back to pair with Luka and Austin Reaves well beyond LeBron James's time. And as much as we talk about how good LeBron is and how long he's going to be able to stay in the league, who really knows how much longer he has at, peak performance in the sense of, being a decent player. So, or a very good to elite player at least. So it's very interesting. And I saw this. Now, this is back in November. So this was before the Luka Doncic trade, all these different things. And I bring it up because it is extremely interesting as to A, the Lakers have been linked to Dame in the past, and B, what it would take back in November, a month after the season started, before the Lakers traded for Luka, when they had Anthony Davis, when they had D'Angelo Russell. It's a very intriguing exercise to do here, and we'll dive right into it. So here's what the proposed deal looked like. The Bucks would receive Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, D'Lo, and a first for, of course, Damian Lillard. Now, of course, the Lakers don't have a lot of these assets now, the first and, D'Lo. But I wanted to bring this up because as it pertains to what it would cost to get Dame now, right? It would probably cost, the Bucks would want Austin Reaves, and that's where the big issue comes first. The Bucks would absolutely want Austin Reaves in this deal. And if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously you're going to want that. You give up a ton of assets for him. If you're the Lakers, I don't think there's any world, and let me know down below in the comment section, I don't think there's any world where the Lakers would go ahead and give up Austin Reaves for Damian Lillard. You could argue that Austin Reaves at this moment right now is a more valuable player, especially alongside Luka, than Damian Lillard, because they're both ball dominant players. Dame and Luka, Luka's a much better player than Damian Lillard is, especially at this point in their career. And I don't think that replacing Austin Reaves with Damian Lillard would randomly give them some extra threat that would help propel them to the playoffs. And that's what you really want if you're giving up Austin Reaves. And I just don't see it happening. But at the same time, if you can get Damian Lillard for something a little bit, cheaper, and whether it's, a first round pick, you can maybe consider it. And that's one of the reasons I'm making this video. Let me know down below, would you do this deal? Again, I'm not a fan of it. I don't think the Lakers would consider it unless it, is without moving off of Austin Reaves, before Damian Lillard. For Damian Lillard, it's just a very interesting, proposal. And you look at like the the depth chart and all these different things. I just don't. Where would you fit Damian Lillard in this lineup? Let's assume you can get him while keeping Austin Reaves. Are you keeping him? I guess a starting lineup of Luka Doncic, Dame at the 2, Austin Reaves at the 3, LeBron at the 4, and then a center at the 5. Like, it's a very good offensive lineup, but you're still going to be struggling mightily defensively. And a lot of this depends on, of course, what happens with Milwaukee, what happens with the Lakers in this postseason run. Series is tied 1-1. But to see the Lakers name there, of course, one of the reasons is because the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic. Nothing can be written off at this point. That's why I'm doing a video on it. But 2, it makes a little bit of sense. However, I think it makes a lot more sense for a team like the Orlando Magic or even the Miami Heat. Like, the Magic need another scorer. They could pair alongside Paolo Banchero. Their defense still struggles, but having a guy like that, a veteran, to help that team makes some sense. Miami Heat, he's wanted to go there forever. They still have Tyler Hero. They still have Bam Adebayo. Could make some sense. Trailblazers, Raptors could make some sense as well if they want to go all in, though I don't think that's necessarily in their plans. With Scotty Barnes, Quick, RJ, IQ, Grady Dick, all these guys, Ingram as well. So it makes sense why they're there, and you can't rule anything out, but I'm not sure I'm completely sold on the fact that, the Lakers are going to go out and necessarily trade for Dame. But it was a wild report. I wanted to cover it, especially before tonight's game. But let's dive into some of the things for tonight's game. So I want to start with this. The Lakers now have moved into the odds-on favorites to win this series. Now, this doesn't mean anything really. It's just the books. But at the same time, Vegas, they sway with the bettors, all these different things. And it's, the books are more notable when it's things like this, where you're, predicting the next player. They've been very right in the past with a lot of these things. However, for this particular issue, I think it just goes to show how prepared the Lakers are. I made a video on it last night. Redick is ready. LeBron seems ready. The team seems ready. Luka Doncic, all these different guys, even, the bench players and the players who aren't getting a ton of run, and Jackson Hayes and things like that. Everyone just seems locked in and ready to go. And that's why they are odds-on favorites right now. You can see this here from Clutch. Any hopes that we have these playoffs rest on the shoulders of these two. They must be better than they have shown. That's a big thing. Rui and Austin Reaves, they've been lackluster to start the series. Reaves is averaging 16. He's been okay at times, but he's a 20-point per game scorer this season. If he gets back to his average, Rui gets back. He's shooting 38% from 3, 33% from the field, or vice versa. He needs to get back to where he was before. If you have all these players starting to get back, get Rui back to 30. I believe it was 33% from the field, or 33% from 3, 38% from the field. But regardless, you get Rui back to his 40% self. You get everybody else back. Then you're going to be in a very good spot against a very weak, defensively. Lakers, they haven't been playing great defensively, right? And I'm not saying the Timberwolves are a weak defensive team or anything like that, but you can abuse their matchups. You can abuse Rudy Gobert. You can abuse Mike Conley, all these different things. So it's going to be interesting to see what they actually go ahead and do. I'm excited, and hopefully the Lakers can take care of business tonight. Let me know all your thoughts on that, as well as the interesting trade reports that have dropped. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.